Hello, everybody. Wait a minute, yeah. Hey, everybody. I know I ain't been on here in a minute, y'all, but I'm back. Today, I had to do a little cleansing and isolation, but I'm back today, and like I say, you always be looking forward to a tomorrow, so you can be better than you was the day before. So, I was up this morning finna take my bath, and I write little messages every time I hear something and I feel like it need to stick with me. I just write it on like any piece of paper that's around me, like the back of an envelope or anything like that. So I was just thinking that I needed to talk about this message. I was going to my bath water, and I stopped and I looked. I was like, what that message say? Because I wrote it like maybe like 4 days ago on this envelope. It says, God is saved me for a certain person. So I try to keep that in mind, y'all. So that what keeps me so focused on myself now in this time and age, because I feel like when the time is right, when the time is divine for God to bring the person in who's supposed to be for me, He gonna bring them to me worked on just as well as I have worked on myself to get to where I'm at in life. He not gonna bring chaos to me. So that's why I'm okay with being by myself and loving myself, because for one, when you learn how to love yourself, it makes you know your value. And when you know your value of yourself, it allows you to not be vulnerable to low vibrational stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the hardest cycle for me to break, and I still deal with it from time to time, it's my cycle of feeling the lustful energy that I have. And I'm not to say that I'm not that I'm sexual, because I'm absolutely not. I know how to refrain from it, but it doesn't mean that I don't desire it and I don't think about it. And it's like that's like one of the hardest cycles for me to break, because I don't want low vibrations to attach to my energy that I work so hard to not go backwards towards. Because once you purify your energy from toxicity, you don't want to reattach yourself back to that same, because long as you keep going backwards, you're gonna always find yourself in the same cycle, even if you decide to go backwards towards somebody different. It's just the same cycle and a different person. So once I've already done a cycle with you, I just don't think that repeating it is okay. If we departed on a toxicity level, that's not nothing God want me to go back to. Our mind gets it's something in our brain that makes us still feel connected to that person, because really that's all we know. And I mean, I'm a guilty person of it too. A person to apologize and you want to believe that they're gonna change, but have they done any work on their self, or they just trying to keep you attached because they afraid of change and they afraid of being alone. So they trying to keep you in the same low vibrational self that you're trying to get away from. You trying to break the cycle of toxicity, of repeating karmic cycles in your life. You know, a lot of people, when we get a certain age, you know, that's what made me understand more about astrology. Like Saturn is it's the planet of discipline. And you have to learn to stay. The lesson with Saturn is whatever part of Saturn is in your birth chart, that's what you have to work the hardest on changing. Because Saturn only comes around every 30-some years. So, with that being said, if you get in your 20s, that's your first Saturn return. Once you get in your late 20s, in your early 30s, I think it goes from like 27 to age 33. That's when you go through your Saturn return cycle. Well, what that means is, like, for example, whatever you had to do in your younger cycle, you're going to either learn a lesson from it, or you're going to be stuck in that same cycle till the Saturn returns again, which will be in another 30-some years, and you'll be like anywhere from 55 to 62, I think. Or is it 60? Somewhere in that range. You know, and then that way you learn the lessons from where you didn't do right the past 30 years of your mid part of your life. As you go towards the Saturn return, what did you grow? What did you learn from? You know, it's like a discipline pattern that you have to learn how to grow and not stay. It's kind of like a discipline of you growing out of your south node. So, you know, I just know, coming from that and learning so much about myself and having a better relationship with God, I know that God is going to send somebody who fits me just as well as I fit them. And not to say God going to send you somebody perfect. He's just going to send somebody to balance you and for you to balance them also. You know, and I don't think that, you know, you can just become all the way healed. Like, our whole life we healing. So God gonna send somebody who can come together with you and help comfort you through your healing just as well as you comfort them through theirs. And it's like a balance. When you work on yourself, you'll know, you know. And I know God have already sent someone to me, but it's just like, it was for us to know, recognize when God sent that person to us. And then once we realize that, because it's not on our timing, you know. So when he brings that person in, it's up to you to recognize that that's the person that God has sent to you. And you need to start working on what you need to do to be right for each other, so y'all can come together and not repeat a karmic pattern. God bring people together to make change, you know, to be an example to others that most people don't think that is, you know, that really exist. It's very few people that really think that love can exist in that way. And for the people who do, believe that, keep believing it, because God has someone. If you stay on your prayers and ask God to send somebody who is right for you, I journal. I write down what I want God to bring in for me, and I also give Him gratitude in advance, So with that, it makes me be comfortable with being by myself. But like I say, I still fight with desires. I'm like, that's a part of me that, I had to teach myself that's valuable, because that's sacred. When you find somebody you love, that's who you express yourself like that when y'all are together, and that's not something you just give out when you just mad at yo somebody that you in a relationship with. If you doing that, I don't care. I just think y'all not meant to be with each other, because now that I have grown, I would never feel that way. Like, nobody that I love so much, even though well, let me say that's not true. Even when I don't desire to do it, I remember I used to do it just to be revengeful. But now I don't even desire to be revengeful. I'd rather just let that person go, because I know that's not a part of me to like try to just go be with somebody else sexually just because I'm mad and I just want to be revengeful because somebody did me like that. No, I just rather be by myself and not attach nobody else, because you don't know who that person you going to sleep with, what kind of attachments they have to them. Everybody don't come like me. Everybody don't come like people who are like me, who don't desire to be with no one until they find that person that God wants them to be with, to match all the work that they have done on themselves to become a better person, not to just accept what the defense give you. You didn't work hard to get an A to just be treated like you got a D, So that's where I'm at in life. If I'm working on me and I'm not in my desired place in life either, but I know if I continue to work on me, God gonna attract a person and I will attract a person and a person will attract me if we on the same vibes with each other. So God don't put together no mess. And I truly believe, now I really know who the people who are sent from God, once I learned to have a relationship with God, because I used to didn't know how to have a relationship with God when I was trying to be in my Christianity part of what I was grew up around. I was afraid to be in a relationship with God because I still wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to be punished by God, by being fake about acting like I wanted to do a certain thing and I know my heart wasn't in the right place to change, what I was not willing to change at that time. So it made me afraid to have a relationship that I needed to have with God. But now that I understand that God don't judge us the way people do, it made me more comfortable being in my spiritual side. That way I can remain like the person that I'm comfortable with being, but also with being better. Like still knowing right from wrong, but I can still like be comfortable if I want to dress 60. I can be comfortable if I want to wear. I don't have restrictions to myself. Like God don't not accept me as who I am, long as I'm doing right by people, you know. So once I figured that out, I got comfortable with having a relationship with God. And so once I figured that out and I said, God gotta be saving me for a certain person. Because, you know, when you work hard on yourself, everybody don't get a ticket to the next season. You gotta start letting certain people go out your life. Cause you know when not to say that you don't have let them go with love. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Not with animosity or being angry. I'm not angry at nobody. And if anybody angry with me, you know, you can communicate it with me and we can reconcile, you know, compromise or whatever. I'm not in or not. You know, we cannot say nothing because saying nothing is saying a lot, you know. But I don't want to have bad blood with nobody before I leave this realm. So I just don't want nobody to feel like I'm into it with them. But I just know everybody don't get a ticket to my next season. That's all I'm saying. And God just have showed me how to stop, you know, accepting breadcrumbs. Once I know my value, that goes with when I meet somebody and I date them, you know, if they can't provide what I ask them to, you know, they want me to refrain from what I'm standing on business about and bend the rules, you know, with them. That mean I don't love myself. If I will allow somebody to override how I feel about me just to please them, nope. I'm out of my people pleasing stage. How can I get the person that I know that I deserve if I accept breadcrumbs? I'm not accepting breadcrumbs from nobody, you know. Not saying that I wasn't that type of person that did. That's why I know I done learned the lesson. That's the whole thing about life. Everything that you go through it for a reason. To learn the lesson. People are brought into your life. And whether you want to look at it as like bad, I don't even look at it as bad. I think they was brought in my life because I needed to learn the lesson. So I learned how to accept, like, that's how I learned how to accept losing people. Because I have lost people that mean so much to me. Way more than the people, like, honestly, who have treated me like they have treated me. So, honestly, I know God put them people in my life for me to learn a lesson. But either I'm going to learn the lesson or I'm going to keep repeating the cycle till I do. So I'm at a point in my life where I have started recognizing when I need to move on and learn the lesson. Because I have always, once I realized that I needed to work on me, I wasn't in the mind frame of trying to change nobody else but me. I talk to my kids. Even though I talk to my kids, I want them to do better, but I want them to want to do better too. So, like I say, I can't, if I keep working on me, all the people around me, they'll start working on themselves. That's what God was telling me. Like, work on you. And the right people, long as you keep speaking, they gonna listen. And you can't be mad if you were an influencer. Even I'm pretty sure people who speak just like me have had people that really didn't like them at a point of life, and they go watch them today, and they hate to admit it, but that person influences them now, in they hatred heart, they will never admit it. And then you have some that grow, and that's just what you sent here to do. You sometimes influence people that really came to be your enemy in life. But you keep being who you are. You can, as long as you work on yourself and people notice and they listen, they will want to start working on themselves too. That's why it's good for all of us to learn how to stop being followers and become leaders in life by focusing more on loving yourself. That's why I don't really, I remember when I first started, when I went through my first year of my separation from the last relationship I was in. I used to I did not want to look forward that first year. I did not want to look forward to Valentine's Day. But some just said, well, don't you love yourself? You don't have to be in a relationship to enjoy Valentine's Day. So from that year on, which has been 6 years, every year I would buy my own flowers. I would buy my own champagne, my own candy, box of candy. I would fix my own dinner. And I'm going to make sure I have me a good ribeye steak with a loaded baked potato, salad. I get me chocolate cup of strawberries. I make sure that I give myself love. Even if I don't get up and put myself together, which that hardly is not, but if I don't be in the mood to, it's okay. I'm going to make me a relaxing bath water. I'm going to put rose petals. I like candles. I learned how to love myself. And when you learn how to love yourself, you'll bring in the right person who will love you just as much. And that's vice versa. When you learn how to love yourself, you can love a person the same way that you give yourself love. So now I don't be so sad about Valentine's Day. Even though I do love the fact, my grandmother and my grandfather, that's their anniversary. They got married on Valentine's Day. So that's like a bittersweet memory for me. But on Valentine's Day, I celebrate loving me. Till God send that right person that I know He's saving me for a certain person. And I'm being patient about it and just working on me, working on my goals, working on my relationship with my kids and my grandkids and my family, and it's been a lot going on with both sides of my family, my dad's side and my mom's side, and I don't ever stop praying. However God does it, we know God is doing it for a reason. So I just wanna put a prayer out for both sides of my family. Both sides of my family are going through a trying time right now, but the other side, my dad's side, we have came to terms about my cousin, but with my mom's side, it's okay. Just put a prayer out for my cousin, his daughter, Um, I just I just know this a time we need to be giving love. It's a time for love, and it ain't always about people think they be so sad because they not in a relationship and stuff. But I'm okay, although I know when the time is right, God gonna send me my husband who gonna I won't no longer have to buy my own flowers. But I mean, I'm enjoying the fact of loving myself and buying me flowers. It's not like I'm sad about it. I love buying myself flowers. But it just learned, the lesson that I learned is, um, it made me stronger. It made me loving me. The love for myself strengthens me. And it helps me be able to share love because I had to learn how to stop, get all that bad, low vibrational energy that brings me into a place that I don't want to be, and start being more into my energy of love, like open my heart chakra, and I had to start from my root though and work my way up to my heart. So once I break that cycle of lustful desire, I know God is trying to show me that being patient, I will get to give all that desire and love and passion to the right man who's deserving of it. And I'm going to be just as well as I'm going to be deserving of it, he will be deserving of me too. So that's all I want to say, y'all. For Valentine's Day, don't be in the dumps because you ain't in a relationship. You know, social media will have you kind of feeling sad if you single, but I don't think, you should be sad. You should love yourself, treat yourself. You really not single. You have God around you and he'll comfort you. Love on yourself, pamper yourself. Fix yourself a nice meal, fix you a relaxing bath. They go for men too. I ain't just speaking for the women. Learn how to love yourself, and then God will keep you safe for the right and preserved for the right love. And that's all I want to say, y'all. Sending love to everybody. I love y'all. Bye-bye.